Have a good day, dear students. My name is Mayuri Karya. I hope you all are well at your home. Today we will see the part 3 of chapter 1, standard 8, social science, civics, NCERT book. The book name is Social and Political Life 3. We will see the part 3 of chapter 1, the Indian Constitution. We have already completed our 2 part. In first part we have seen the history of making Indian Constitution. How we have to need to make the Indian Constitution, that we have seen in the first part. In second part we have seen the importance of Indian Constitution. Okay, in third part we will see the key feature of Indian Constitution, that is fundamental rights. Okay, so let's we see. This one is a cover page of the Indian Constitution. It contains 595 pages almost. Here is the preamble of the Indian Constitution that says the people of India having solemnly resolved to continue India into sovereign democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political. Justice they will get, social, economical and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. Equality they are getting in status of opportunity and to promote among them all. Federality assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity of the nation. Okay, next, in our constituent assembly, this 26th day of November 1949 do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. So in this preamble, whatever the constitution gives to Indian citizen, that it has been denoted. Okay, now next, fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. This one is a key feature of the Indian Constitution. Introduction. Fundamental rights are enriched. Fundamental rights are enshrined under part 3 of the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution having a 12 part. In this means in third part, fundamental right has been included, which was adopted on the 26th November 1949 but was put on use on 26th January 1950. These fundamental rights guarantee that every citizen of this nation can live a life of peace and harmony throughout the territory of India, and these rights were included in the Constitution because they were considered to be the essential for the development of each and every individual. People of all race, religion, caste or sex have been given the rights to move to the Supreme Court or the High Court for the enforcement of these rights. These fundamental rights are divided into 7 categories, which are covered from Article 12 till Article 35 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so this one is a history of Indian Constitution. Now let's we see from the textbook. Indian Constitution key feature. By beginning of the 12th century, the Indian national movement had been activated in struggle for the independence for British rule for several decades. During the freedom struggle, the nationalists had devoted a great deal of time to imagine and planning what a free India would be like. Okay, the people have been suffer more during independence struggle. So means how our free India should be, that they have been imagined. Under the British, they had been forced to obey rules that they had every little role in making. A long experience of authoritarian rule under the colonial state convinced Indians that free India should be a democratic in which everyone should be treated equally and be allowed to participate in government. What remained to be done then was to work out the way in which democratic government would be set up in India and the rule that would determine its functioning. This was done not by one person but by a group of around 300 people who become member of Constituent Assembly in 1946 and who meet periodically for the next 3 years to write Indian Constitution. Okay, so means we know very well in our first lecture we have seen Indian Constitution to make Indian Constitution means the people have taken time 2 years 11 months and 18 days. Okay, so in this time the people have been periodically meet and discuss on this. The member of the Constituent Assembly had a huge task before them. The country was made up of several different communities who spoke different languages, belonged to different religion, and had distinct culture. Also, when the constitution was being written, India was going through considerable turmoil. The participation of the country into India and Pakistan was imminent. Some of the princely states remained undecided about their future, and the socio-economic condition of the vast mass of people appeared dismal. All of these issues played on the mind of the members of the Constituent Assembly as they draft the constitution. They rose to the occasion and gave this country a visionary document that reflect a respect for maintaining diversity while preserving national unity. The final document also reflects their concern for eradicating poverty through socio-economic reforms as well as emphasizing the crucial role of people can play in choosing their representatives. Okay, so means when the people were making Indian Constitution, there means the people were facing a one problem of partition of India and Pakistan also. So means the people have taken all these things in their mind and they want to give means all the rights in the means citizen of India. That's why means the people have focused on each and every aspect that each and every Indian citizen should get each and every right. That means they should have right to choose their representative. They can get the right for equality. Okay, so for all this they means keeping all these aspects in their mind and discussing with all the people. After that the people have made the constitution. Listed below are the key features of the Indian Constitution. While reading this, keep in mind the above mentioned concern of diversity, unity, socio-economic reform and representation that the author of this document were grappling with. Try and understand the way in which they tried to balance this concern with their commitment to transforming independent India into a strong democratic society. Okay, so means all this aspect, which aspects means diversity, unity, socio-economic reform, representation of the authors of this document were grappling with this, that to try to balance all this concept in our Indian Constitution. First one, federalism. This refers to the existence of more than one level of government in country. In India, we have government at the state level and the central. Panchayati Raj is the third tier of government, and you have read about this in your class 6 book. We look at the function of the state government in your class 7 book, and the year we will read more about the central government. Now, federalism means three-tier government. Three-tier government means if you people go to the means village level, this is a basic level. Okay, so village level, so there is a panchayat and gram panchayat. Okay, so head is a sarpanch. Now on upper means gram panchayat means this villages make the state. So there is a means state government. We know very well that is right now means Vijay Rupani is a CM of our state. So that is a state government. Now all the states had is country means a group of state is a country. So there is a means it is a central. So means central government, that is means our Prime Minister PM is Narendra Modi. So this is a three-tier system. Means on a country level, on state level, and on village level. Okay, so this one is a three-tier system. The vast number of communities in India meant that a system of government needed to be divided and did not involve only persons sitting in the capital city of New Delhi and making Here the people have been given the picture of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. He was the head of the drafting committee of constitution. That right now means the written constitution we are having now. That written constitutions committee's head he was. Now let's we go further. Decision for everyone. Okay, so one should not take the decision. Each and every person should take the decision. Instead, it was important to have another level of government in the state so that decision could be made for the particular area. While each state is in India enjoy autonomy in existing power on certain issues, subjects of national concern requires that all of these states follow the laws of the central government. Now here what the people want to see say that means only one person cannot enjoy the whole means democracy. Each and every person can be enjoyed. So means only the means all the means authority should not be in a one person's hand that has been set in the Delhi as a means PM or we can say the Prime Minister of India. So means this authority should be divided. Okay, it should not be centralized, it should be divided. Okay, it should in a means this first one concept the person has been given for the to divide the authority in different hands, that is Gandhiji was not in favor means to centralize the means authority. He was means believing that the heart of the means Indian people's heart is living in the means village. So villages are the most important aspect, and from grassroots level it should be maintained the means all means the need of the people and whatever they need. Okay, so he was means in a favor of a Panchayati Raj. Panchayati Raj means right now we are seeing that Gram Panchayat and Jilla Panchayat and everything. So he was in the favor of a Panchayati Raj. So means for that also means both we have accepted that Panchayati Raj system and that means centralized system. So means this both thing we have means balanced. That's why we are having a three-tier system at village level, Gram Panchayat, at state level means state government, and at central level central government. Okay, so means a law should be divided, not should be centralized. So one person cannot could not enjoy the authority only. Okay, each and every person get the benefit of that system, or we can say law. The constitution contains lists that detail the issues that each tier of government can make law on. In addition, the constitution also specifies where each tier of government can get the money from for the work that it does. Under federalism, the states are not merely agents of the federal government but draw their authority from the constitution, as well as all persons in India are governed by laws and policies made by each of this level of government. Okay, so federalism means this means authority should be divided. Okay, second one, parliamentary form of government. Parliamentary form, we know very well. In parliament we are having a two means session. First one is Rajya Sabha and second one is the different tier of government that you just read about consist of the representative. You are elected by the people. Your class 7 book began with the story of Kanta, who was standing in line to vote during the election. Here is the picture, means people are waiting for to give the vote. Okay, Constitution of India guarantees universal adult suffrage for all citizens. Universal adult suffrage means on year 18 means 18 years person is getting a right to vote. That is called the universal adult suffrage. Okay, for all citizens. When they were making of constitution, the member of the Constituent Assembly felt the freedom struggle had prepared the masses for universal adult suffrage, and that it would help encourage a democratic mindset and break the clutches of traditional caste, class and gender hereditary. This means that the people of India have a direct role in electing their representative. Also, every citizen of the country, irrespective of his or her social background, can also contest in the election. These representatives are accountable of the people. You will read more about why representation is crucial to democratic functioning in unit 2 of the book. Okay, so means parliamentary form. We are having a parliamentary form. Our parliament have a two session. First one is Rajya Sabha and second one is Lok Sabha. People are being elected there, and that elective people are keep making our issues in that parliament, and the people are discussing on that and making the laws. Okay, this one is a process, so it is being called the parliamentary form. Now third one, separation of power. I said no, do not centralize the power. Means separation of power. The power should be in more than one people hand. According to the constitution, there are three organs of government. These are the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. Legislature means parliamentary. In that the people are discussing our problems and making the law. Now executive. Executive means they means executive people means they have to implement whatever the law has been made in the parliament, that they have to implement in the country. For example, means collectors are means implement their laws in their means areas or in their districts. Okay, so that is executive. And that judiciary means whatever the laws has been made that is being violated or being broken, so judiciary is giving the decision on that. Okay, so means the law means that courts and police, and that is coming in a judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representatives. The executive in a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government, the judiciary, of which you will read more in unit 3 of this book, refers to the system of courts in this country. In order to prevent the misuse of power by anyone branch of government, the constitution says that each of these organs should exercise different powers. Through this, each organ act as a check on the other organs of government, and this ensure the balance of power between all three. Okay, now the word state is often used in chapter. This does not refer to state government. Rather, when we use state, we are trying to discussing it for government in responsible for administrating and ensuring laws. Okay, means in our Indian constitution it has been written India is a Sangharajya, that means federal state. Okay, that's why means we people are referring the word when state, it is being considered for our country India, or the means for our government, Indian government. Okay, not for state. And enforcing law, the government can change with election. The state, on the other hand, refers to a political institution that represent a sovereign. Sovereign means no one can force on that. It is means free for whatever the decision it want to take. Okay, it is not under pressure of any other government or any other person. Okay, that is called the sovereign. People who occupy a definite territory. We can thus speak of the Indian state, the Nepali state, etc. The Indian state has a democratic form of government. The government or the executive is one part of the state. The state refers to more than just the government and cannot be used interchangeably with it. Okay, so means it cannot be used in a means in our meaning, that in which meaning we want to use. Fourth one, fundamental right. Now, the section of fundamental right has often been referred to as the consciousness of the Indian Constitution. Colonial rule had created a certain suspicion of the state in the mind of the nationalists, and they wanted to ensure that a set of written rights would guard against the misuse of state power in independent India. Fundamental rights therefore protect citizen against the arbitrary means andhadhund raj, okay, of the government and absolute exercise of power by the state. The constitution thus guarantees the right of individuals against the state as well as against other individuals. Okay, so means fundamental rights means right to people that they want to do, that has been given to our Indian citizen. In that time when India get the independence, India was the first country who has given the right to vote to each and every citizen of its its country, who were at the adult suffrage, means who were at the age of 18 or above the age of 18. But okay, means India was the first country. Why India was the first country? Because in many countries people are having a right to vote, but in some countries means only rich people have been given the right to vote. In some countries only means male persons has been given to right to vote. Females were not giving the means vote to choose their means representative. Okay, so India was the first country that he has given the right to vote in that time. And now at that time India was the first country who had given fundamental rights to their citizen. Rather, besides of India, England was the country that has been given the this kind of means rights to their people. Moreover, the various minority community also expressed the need for the constitution to include rights that would protect their groups. The constitution therefore also guaranteed the right of minorities against the majorities. As Dr. Ambedkar has said about these fundamental rights, their object is twofold. The first objective is the every citizen must be in position to claim those rights, and secondly, these rights must be binding upon every authority that has got the power to make laws. Okay. In addition of fundamental rights, the constitution also has a section called Directive Principles of State Policy. This section was designed by the member of Constitution Assembly to ensure greater social and economic reform and to serve a guide to the independent Indian state to institute laws and policies that help reduce the poverty and masses. Okay, so means directive principles of means states. So states can be also directly implement that. So now what fundamental rights we are enjoying, let's we see. The fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution include, first one is right to equality. All persons are equal before the law. This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the law of country. It also states that no citizen can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, caste or sex. Every person has access to all public places, including playgrounds, hotels, shops, etc. The state cannot discriminate against anyone in matters of employment, but there are exceptions to this that you will read about later in this book. The practice of untouchability has also been abolished. Under the Article 17, the practice of the untouchability has been abolished, okay, in our constitution. So means each and every person is getting the right to equality, okay, and each and every person is equal before the law. Means whatever the law is means being implemented on the means rich people, that is implemented on the poor people, that is being implemented on our leaders, that is being implemented our MLAs, okay. So means each and every person is equal before the law. Now second one, right to freedom. This includes the right to freedom of speech and expression, the right to form association, the right to move freely and resident in any part of the country, and the right to practice any profession, occupation or business. Okay, so right to freedom. Whatever the people want to do, they can do. Okay, in this the people cannot be terrorist. Okay, so means in a good manner whatever they want to do, that can do. Right against the exploitation. The constitution prohibited human trafficking, forced labor and employment of the children under 14 years of age. Human trafficking means people are being transported and is being sold, that is called the human trafficking, okay. So that should be prevented. Forced to labor means in earlier age what happened, that Indian people are being make the slaves, and they are being means sold in the other countries as a slave, and the people are making their slaves of this people. So this human trafficking should be stopped. Forced labor means people are being forced to do the labor in their factories or in their work institutions, that is being forced. And employment of the children under the 14 year. So under the 14 years should means children should not be will not work in any means shop or means any industry or factory. Now fourth one, right to freedom of religion. Religious freedom is provided to all citizens. Every person has the right to practice profession and propagate the religion of their choice. Okay, so whatever the religion the people want to be follow, they can follow. Means for example, means A.R. Rahman is a Hindu, but he is following means a Muslim religion, so that is a right to freedom to of religion. Whatever religion they want to follow, they can follow. Now fifth one, cultural and educational right. Okay, the constitution states that all minorities, religion of or linguistic can set up their own educational institution in order to preserve and develop their own culture. Okay, so we know very well we are having our linguistic means educational centers like Gujarati medium school we are having now, so that is our linguistic means language. In our language means we can establish the schools to develop our culture. Okay, and right to education means each and every person can get the right in that. Now sixth one, right to constitutional remedies. This one is an important thing. This allows citizens to move the court if they believe that any of their fundamental right has been violated by the state. Means if any person's means fundamental right has been violated by any person or court, so they can go in court and file the case or petition against that. Okay, so means for example, means many people are being protested against their means master in a factory, means they are not getting the means wages that should be they get. So what means, this is their fundamental right to get the means proper wages. Okay, so means for that the people can go in court and file their means petition that we are not getting the proper wages. Okay, so their fundamental right has been violated. They should get the means proper wages, but they are not getting. That's why they can means go in court. So this one is an important means fundamental right that has been given in our constitution, that right to constitutional remedies. Okay, now next, secularism. Secularism. A secular state is one in which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. We will read more about these in the following chapter. Secularism means government is not following a particular religion, or they are not promoting any particular religion. That's why in our means constitution it has been written India is a secular country, but means it does not believe in any religion and it respect all the religion. Okay, the meaning of this, that you now understand the way in which country's history often determine the kind of constitution that a country adopt itself. The constitution plays a crucial role in laying out the ideas that we would like all citizens of the country to adhere to, including the representatives that we elect to the rule us, just like in the game of football. Change of consecutive rules will affect the game. Indian constitution has been amended over the year to reflect new concerns of the policy. Often a major change in the constitution means a change in the fundamental nature of the country. We show this in the case of Nepal and how it needed to adopt a new constitution after it became democracy. Okay, so each and every country need the constitution. The different feature of the Indian constitution outlined above involve complicated ideas that are often not easy to grasp. Don't worry too much about these for the movement. In the rest of the book as well as in your higher classes, you will read more about this different feature of the Indian constitution and understand more substantively about what they mean. Okay, here you can see the picture means of Jawaharlal Nehru. He is signing on the Indian constitution. In our first part we have seen, here is the Rajendra Prasad. He is signing on the Indian constitution. here Jawaharlal Nehru and Rajkumari Amrita Kaur, they people are writing on the Indian Constitution, signing on the Indian Constitution. When our Indian Constitution has been prepared, means there were 284 people were present in the assembly and they have signed on the Indian Constitution. Okay, so here we are completing our lecture. In next lecture we will see the quick recap of the chapter. Thank you so much.